Welcome to Satsang. So beautiful to be together. Sacred garden in this sacred atmosphere. So beginning, as always, with a question that comes in from our online global community. And then we'll open it up to any questions that anyone here might have. The Bhagavad Gita says that Lord Krishna appears in different forms to his devotees. I've heard that in Mathura, some saw him as a lightning bolt, others in different forms. What do you think God is like? I think God is like everything. इसको बंद कर देना भैया. You echo आ रहा है उससे. I think God is like everything. I mean, from a sense of bhav, from a sense of love and devotion, I can say, yeah, God is everything, can see God in everything. Whether it's the lightning bolt itself, whether it's the rain that follows the lightning, whether it's the land onto which the lightning bolt is hitting, whether it's the trees on both sides. Well, it's all God. But also from purely a theological sense. We say, well, if God is infinite, which of course every religion believes. I mean, I'm not aware of any religion that doesn't think that God is infinite, that says, well, God only lives over here. God only exists in this way. God only lives in that box. I mean, one of the things that all religions have in common is this idea of the infinite nature of God, and they may think of that infinite nature in a different way, call it a different way, connect to it in a different way. But I've never heard of a religion that says God is only this over here. This is not God, just here. So if God is infinite, then God, of course, can be in infinite forms. I mean, in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says to us very specifically, in whatever form the devotee worships me with love and devotion, I appear to the devotee in that form. That's as conclusive evidence as I need. If I'm going to worship God in a particular form, and Krishna Bhagwan has told us, I appear to the devotee in that form. Well, then there it is. But of course, God is also omnipotent, meaning all-powerful. So it's not that God is waiting for the devotee to worship him or her in a particular form and only then is able to appear in it. God can appear in any form, in every form. Even before the devotee worships God in that form. It's not, oh, well, nobody's worshipped me as a lightning bolt yet, therefore I can't appear in that form. God is the creator of the universe. When we speak about the trinity of the divine actions or manifestations, and there's creation that we call the energy of Lord Brahma. There's sustenance that we call the energy of Lord Vishnu. There's disillusion or destruction that we call the energy of Lord Shiva. So God is it all. And of course, when we speak about Nirgun Brahman, it's no attributes, no characteristics, no form, just that supreme reality. Formless, attributeless. So, to me, God is everything. The only place I don't feel God is if in my own mind I've become wrapped up in ignorance. If I get wrapped up in ignorance, in ego, in fear, and I forget God, then I don't feel God there. But that's not because God isn't there. It's because I've turned my head away. Music may still be playing, but if I've stuck, what are they called? Earplugs. If I've stuck earplugs in my ears or put noise-canceling headphones on, I can't hear it. But the music is still there. The sun is still shining even if my curtains are drawn. And so for me, on a personal level, the only time and place I don't feel God is when internally, thankfully it happens a lot less than it used to, but it still happens every once in a while, where internally, not on purpose, but by the forces of Maya, the ego, ignorance, fear, rag, and dvesh, and all of this, the curtain closes on my vision. And for that moment, or those moments, I get lost. And I think in that moment, oh, I am this body, I am this story, oh my God, this is a crisis, or oh my God, I need this, or I don't want that. Then I don't feel God in those moments. But that's because I've closed my vision, not because God isn't there. The moment I'm able to stop, mid-sentence, mid-breath, mid-thought, and realize, oh my God, what's happened to me? I've fallen asleep. And to come back. The moment you come back, there God is again. So it's not that God isn't there or has gone away. It's just that we've forgotten. So a lightning bolt? Sure, why not? A form that looks like Bhagwan Krishna, the way that we see him in beautiful deities and beautiful paintings? Why not? In a form of Shankar Bhagwan? Why not? In the form of a Shivling? Why not? In the form of Mahalakshmi? Ma Durga? Ma Saraswati? Why not? In the form of a flower, a sunrise, a sunset, a waterfall. Why not? In the form of your loved one. Why not? I mean, it seems to me that the goal for all of us is, how many different forms can you see God in? How many different times during the day, looking at different people, can you experience God, or looking at different things? So yeah, when you see a lightning bolt, Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Sri Ram, Om Namah Shivaya. When you see a blade of grass, when you see a loved one, when you see anyone, Hey Ram. Let us see the divine in all. Other questions? Any question that anyone here has? Yes.
Pranam. My question is, actually there are two questions. They are interconnected.
No problem.
On one topic, offering gratitude. Many a times when we are helped by someone, we just say a thank you. Or my question here is whether just a mere thank you or returning back the favor is enough, or there is some other, a conscious practice on a deeper level
Beautiful.
which we have to do.
Sure. Beautiful. So it's interesting because I come from America, and in America, kids, very, very young kids, are taught, what do you say? Thank you. Right? I mean, somebody gives your kid something, and if the kid doesn't say anything, immediately the parents will say, what do you say? And the kid will say, oh, thank you. We teach from a very young age. You have to say thank you. You have to say thank you. I remember when I was growing up, every birthday or Christmas or Hanukkah, because we celebrated both, whatever gifts I ever got, graduation gifts, I was always taught you have to send thank you notes. And this was in the days long before email or text messages. Didn't have a computer with a printer. It was literally you had to get a piece of paper, a card, and actually write something and actually stick it in an envelope and address the envelope and lick a stamp. But we were taught you have to send thank you notes. And I remember even my parents talking every once in a while about someone they'd given a gift to who hadn't sent a thank you note. And it was always seen as this evidence of lack of sanskars. Now in America they don't say lack of sanskars, but it's evidence of sort of poor parenting. Poor values if children don't send thank you notes. And then I came to India, and somebody would do something for me, and I would say thank you. And they would get insulted. No, don't say thank you, please don't say thank you. And I was so confused. First I thought they were just being polite. But then I started realizing, no, they really don't want me to say thank you. And I learned that actually in India, if you say thank you, it's a kind of formality, whereas when you give somebody something, you really give it from the heart. And if they say thank you, then it makes the giver feel like there's been some kind of a formal exchange, rather than you just giving it from the heart or giving it because you're family. So I would say thank you, and people would say, no, you are my sister, or you are my daughter, or you are my this. No, please don't say thank you. As though somehow to say thank you was undermining, belittling the relationship that we had. So in terms of gratitude, I think what's most important is that you really deeply feel the gratitude inside, and that the person knows that you are deeply grateful. But you also want to make sure that you don't end up insulting someone in an effort to be polite. And so there may be ways, for example, to be appreciative, to be grateful, that aren't necessarily saying thank you. Because if you keep saying, oh my God, thank you so much, people sometimes get insulted. I mean, I still do it. It's a habit that I have not been able to break in 27 years. It's just so deeply ingrained in me. But given that you're Indian, and maybe it's not quite so deeply ingrained in you, it may be helpful to think about what are ways that you can express gratitude. Maybe it's a smile, maybe it's a hug, maybe depending on, who that person may be. Maybe it's just holding their hands, maybe it's bringing them, a bowl of soup the next day, or, or when they're not feeling well. So it's not immediately the next day, it doesn't feel like an exchange, but just something that acknowledges the depth of the relationship. We've all been in situations where somebody tells us thank you, and we know they don't really mean it. We know they're just saying it. And it doesn't actually carry much weight at all. You'd much rather know that someone is grateful even if they don't say it, than have a kind of just to be polite, thank you so much. So I think the sincerity is the most important. But for your own spiritual practice, even if you're not going to say thank you outside, even if they are not going to want you to say that, if they are Indian and there is a sense of, oh, please don't say thank you. Well, for our spiritual practice, gratitude is so powerful. So even if I can't speak it out loud, you want to say it to God at least. Thank you, God, for gifting me with such extraordinary people in my life who do these sorts of things for me, who love me so much. And maybe instead of saying thank you for the thing that they do, maybe just periodically you sit them down and tell them how appreciative you are that they are in your life. And it's not specifically because you did this or because you did that, but it's just a gratitude fest. Once a month, on certain holidays, whatever it may be. But just periodically make sure that you share with them how grateful you feel to them and for them. And be sure to stay grateful to God every minute for the gift of having people in your life who care for you. People who think about you. People who are there for you. People who love you. What a gift. So even if you can't say thank you to them, say it to God. Beautiful. Was there a second part? Yes.
And how do we offer gratitude to those who hurt us? Because I believe that somewhere they also contribute to our spiritual...
Absolutely. Gratitude to those who have hurt us. So this may not necessarily be something you want to say to them in the moment. Because certainly the last thing that we want someone who's hurt us to think is that we really loved it and we're really appreciative for it, so that they keep doing it or that they go out and do it to someone else. It's important for people to know that their actions have negative impacts, negative ramifications, so that they understand that they are connected to others and that there's ways that we act in ignorance, in ego, that hurt others. So I'm not sure that I would, say thank you to the person who's hurt you. Chances are they will, in any case, think that you're being not very sincere. But definitely you can say thank you to the divine, to God, for having given you that experience. Again, I wouldn't necessarily go all over yourself, because similarly, the last thing that you want God to think is that you really loved it and that you want more of it. They say be careful what you pray for. So living in an attitude of gratitude is very powerful and positive and wonderful, and being able to see negative things as very important learning experiences, growth experiences, is beautiful. So thank God for the ability. Here's how I would phrase it. Rather than thank you so much, God, for this person who abused me and harmed me and betrayed me, rather than putting that energy into the universe of that was so great, I loved it, I would like to have some more, instead of that, I would say thank you so much, God, for having shown me through this opportunity how strong I really am. Thank you for showing me through this opportunity how false my attachment to those things was. That person who stole from me made me go through the lesson of letting go of my attachment to the things that were stolen. Whether it was my money, whether it was my job, whether it was my reputation, whether it was my jewelry. Whatever it is that was stolen, in order to heal, I have to let go of my attachment to it. So thank you, God, so much for showing me through that experience that actually my attachment to those things was holding me back in some way. Thank you for showing me that even without those things, I am still full, that I didn't need them in order to be full, that I am full. Thank you for your grace that is always with me. I would give gratitude like that. And of course, and thank you so much, God, for all of that, which I still have. This was taken, but I still have so much. Thank you, God. Yes, this person stole this amount, but thank you so much for all that I still have. Thank you, God, this person hurt me this much, but thank you so much for the joy and the peace and the strength that I still have, even having been hurt. So I would offer gratitude in that way. So yeah, every time we're hurt, it's a learning experience. But you don't want to necessarily pray for it like that, except, at the end of the Mahabharata war, Kunti tells Bhagawan Krishna, just janam ke baad, just give me pain. Because when I am in pain, you are close to me. Right? Bhagawan Krishna says, ask anything, kuch bhi mango. Main dene ke liye taiyar hoon. I am ready to give you. And she says, just keep giving me suffering. Because I've seen when everything is going right and wonderfully, you seem very far. But when I am suffering, you are very close. So give me that suffering. Now, if it were me, I would pray. I bow to Kunti for having that vision. If I were in her shoes, I would pray, oh God, Give me the blessing that even in good times you are there with me. Give me the blessing that even when things are going well, I am able to see you. Rather than I need more pain so that you are with me, or so that I feel you with me. Give me the boon, the blessing of feeling you with me all the time. Because ultimately, being able to know that God is with us and feel that, regardless, in pleasure, in pain, in loss, in gain, in success, in failure. We want to be able to feel gratitude, to feel that presence of the divine in every circumstance. Beautiful. Other questions? Any other questions? Yes.
First of all, thank you so much for explaining it so well. My question is something in our relationships. Basically, it can be with anyone, like mother, father, sisters, brothers, right? So sometimes when they do something or which hurts us or which makes us want to go far from them or not talk to them for certain reasons or but they are family or they're they have done certain things for you which you can't forget or can't just let go, but there is a feeling that this relationship is not healthy for your spiritual journey or for your peace or for your for your life overall. So so how would you advise on that? How would we deal with that?
Great question. There's two pieces there. One is the reaction we have to what that family member has done that hurts us. Okay? So the first part is essentially how we deal with that pain, that hurt, that reaction based on what they have done. When there is something they have done and it has hurt us and we cannot let it go, how we deal with it. And the second part essentially is when the relationship itself is not healthy for us, then what to do. And I've purposely separated them into two parts because holding a grudge against someone full of pain, full of anger, full of resentment is actually much more unhealthy than any actual relationship is. I'm not saying there aren't relationships that are unhealthy. There are, and we'll come to that. But you need to realize that your resentment, your grudge, is actually much more unhealthy than anything that someone else might be doing short of actual abuse. Because the grudge, the pain, the resentment, the anger is a poison in you that is literally festering in you every minute of every day. It's impacting everything you think about. It's impacting everything you do. It's preventing you from living your life in peace, in joy, in freedom. So before we even come to the what do we do about the relationship, it's really important that you let go. That doesn't mean you hold on to the relationship. You may decide to let go of the relationship, but you still need to let go of the pain. Regardless of what you do with the relationship, you've got to let go of the pain because that is what's going to kill you. that internal grudge, that anger, that's going to kill you. That's why we forgive. We don't forgive because what everyone does is okay. We don't forgive because what everyone does is forgivable. We forgive because if we don't forgive, that which they did will kill us, steal our lives, steal our peace, steal our health, mental, physical, emotional, spiritual. And so even if we never talk to the person again, even if we never see the person again, we still have to forgive. Forgiving doesn't mean I want you back in my life. Forgiving doesn't mean, oh yeah, that was so great. Would you just abuse me again? Let's try that one again. It's not what it means. What it means is I deserve to be free. Regardless of what you did to me, I deserve to be free. Regardless of your ego, fear, anger, pain, arrogance, illusion, confusion, I deserve to be free. And as long as I'm holding on to pain and a grudge, I am not free. So you must let go. That must be the very first thing you do. Your relationship with yourself is far more important than your relationship with anyone else. Deal with them later. Deal with yourself first. Imagine you're walking down the street and someone comes up to you to steal your purse. They come to mug you. And they stab you with a knife. Okay? Straight in. You've been stabbed. You're gushing blood. What are you going to do? You're going to get up and run after them? Come back here. Who the hell do you think you are? Give me back my purse. You hurt me. I'm going to call the police. What's the first thing you're going to do? You're going to go to a hospital. You're going to call a doctor. You're going to do something to stop up your bleeding wound. Because you understand, I'm dying here. I'll deal with them later. File a police report later. Get my bag back later. But if I spend my attention and time going after them now, I'm not going to make it. I'm gushing blood. I have to take care of myself first. And this is true whether someone stabs you with a knife or with their words or with their actions. When you have been hurt, the longer you hold on to it, the longer you run after them metaphorically or physically, trying to show them, get them, do something related to them, the longer that wound has to grow and fester and get infected and ultimately kill you. So first things first, take care of your pain. Take care of your grudge. And the only way to do that is to forgive. And if you can't just do it on your own, get some help. But make that a priority. Get spiritual help, get psychological help, get whatever help you need to forgive and let go and move on. Then you can deal with the relationship. And then you can ask yourself, is this a relationship that makes sense for me? A lot of times we may think a relationship isn't healthy just because it's difficult. We may think a relationship isn't healthy just because someone, pushes our buttons and it's a little bit more challenging to stay in peace around that person. But that doesn't necessarily mean the relationship is bad for us. The relationship may be a great sadhana, a great tapasya. I mean, we pay a lot of money for a gym membership to go to the gym and actually lift up weights that hurt our arms. It hurts to do it. But we actually pay money, we give up our lunch hour, we give up our free time to go and do it because we know that that pain while I'm doing it is actually building the muscle. So that in the future I can do a lot more of this without being in pain. And I'm not saying this is the case for you because I don't know the situation of your relationship. And I'm not saying that every relationship is okay. There absolutely are relationships that are, poison for you. But before you rush out of it, ask yourself, is this just, God who's given me some emotional barbells or some spiritual weights in the house that I have to lift up a few times in the morning, a few times midday, a few times in the evening? Is this just God giving me kind of a free home spiritual gym to build up my internal muscles? And if so, don't run away so fast. Anybody who's ever tried to get someone else to exercise knows how difficult it is, right? The person who doesn't want to exercise says, oh, I don't feel like it. I'd rather just, why can't I just stay home and watch TV? And you're saying, come on, you got to come with me for a jog. We got to go to the gym. Come on. I know it hurts, but you're going to feel so much better afterwards. Well, in the same way, spiritually and emotionally, we may say, I don't want to be in that situation. I don't want to talk to that person. I don't want to have to do this work. But really ask yourself before you leave it, is the situation actually poison for me? Or is it just my home spiritual gym that God's given me to build up my spiritual muscles? So really be careful about that before you decide that the problem really is the other person. See whether building up some spiritual muscles doesn't change it for you. And then if you find that for whatever reason that relationship really is poison, and usually the only things in my book that would qualify it as that is if the person you're having a relationship with is abusive, physically, verbally, emotionally, sexually, or if that person is preventing you from actually living your dharma. If that person is actually preventing you, either physically or through emotional manipulation, from fulfilling your dharma, those in my book would be the only situations in which I would actually say, get out. Otherwise, relationship is a yoga. It's a yoga. It's a spiritual practice. It's not something that comes easy. Whether it's spouses, whether it's parents and children, whether it's in-laws, whether it's co-workers, whether it's neighbors. There's always some kind of, you move a few blocks away, you got a different neighbor, different situation. This one's dog barked, the new one plays music till midnight. It's always going to be something. You're much better off working it out where you are in yourself, getting those spiritual muscles strong, rather than just trying to remove from your life things that rub you in the wrong way. Because that leaves you very spiritually and emotionally weak. But if it is really wrong and it is really poison, then yeah, you need to have the courage to save yourself. Good, of course.
Thank you so much.
Of course, of course. Have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your evening. A beautiful day to our family joining online from all over the world. And I look so forward to being together with you all again tomorrow. And so much love to you.